The health situation continues to evolve, especially in New South Wales and Victoria, leaving uncertainty about the near-term economic outlook high. Next week, we get data that tells us what economic activity did over the June quarter. We are expecting that a modest lift in economic activity occurred. Economic conditions have deteriorated significantly since the June quarter. Indeed, data later this year will almost certainly show that economic activity was sharply lower in this September quarter, led by New South Wales. New South Wales accounts for around a third of the population and a third of economic output. You throw in Victoria, and that's more than half the population and more than half of economic output in Australia. The disruption to the economic recovery from the health situation means that we can expect unemployment to rise over coming months. Business spending plans are mostly on hold, and some businesses will now be starting to feel the pinch more. The JobSaver scheme in New South Wales and support payments in New South Wales and other states and territories will help cap some of the rise in unemployment, but not all of it. Last week we learned the unemployment rate dropped to a decade low of 4.6% in July. However, this data comes from early in July, before Victoria was in lockdown and before the extension to New South Wales lockdown to the end of September. Moreover, a breakdown of the data showed job losses for New South Wales. We expect the unemployment rate will increase in the coming months. That said, most of the adjustment in the jobs market will come through hours worked, as businesses try to adapt to the situation by cutting the hours worked of employees. High vaccination rates give us hope that restrictions will gradually lift in the next few months in New South Wales and more broadly across Australia as we approach the 70% and 80% vaccination targets. The vaccine rollout also gives us some comfort that consumer and business stress might be less acute than early in the pandemic crisis last year, when vaccines were only in the development phase. As restrictions lift, the economic recovery will resume.